pain. Everybody feels it. Most people run from it. But the truth is, pain is the most honest teacher you'll ever meet. It doesn't lie to you. It doesn't sugarcoat things. It doesn't care how tired you are, how much you've already been through, or what excuses you've built up over time. Pain is the mirror that shows you exactly who you are. When life hits you hard, when your body screams to quit, when your mind tells you there's no point in continuing, that's the moment most people fold. They tap out because they think pain means stop. But pain isn't a red light. It's a green light that says go harder, dig deeper, push further than you ever thought possible. I've learned that the real growth happens when everything inside you tells you to quit, but you keep moving anyway. When you're gasping for air, when your legs feel like they're breaking, when your heart is pounding out of your chest, that's not the time to slow down. That's the time to wake up. Because on the other side of pain is power. The kind of power that can't be faked. The kind that isn't bought, taught, or inherited. It's earned, moment by moment, through every drop of sweat and every ounce of effort you put in when nobody's watching. You want to be unstoppable, then you have to stop negotiating with your own weakness. The world is full of people who only show up when it's convenient, when the weather's right, when they feel like it. But the truth is, you'll never feel like it. Discipline is born in discomfort. You don't build mental toughness by doing what's easy. You build it by doing what sucks every single day. You build it when you wake up before the sun, when you train after everyone's gone home, when you look yourself in the mirror and admit that you've been soft and you decide that changes now. Most people have this dream of becoming great, but the second it starts to hurt, they back off. They tell themselves, maybe it's not meant for me. They start talking about luck, talent, genetics, opportunity, all that noise. But the truth is, greatness doesn't care about any of that. Greatness is reserved for those who are willing to go through hell and smile through the flames. When life gets hard, that's not the universe trying to stop you. It's testing you to see if you deserve what you're asking for. Every goal you want has a price tag, and the currency is pain. You want success? Pay with sweat. You want confidence? Pay with fear. You want respect? Pay with consistency. There's a voice inside your head that's always trying to protect you, telling you to stop, to take it easy, to rest. That voice isn't your enemy. It's your limit. It's the part of you that's afraid to find out what you're really made of. Every time you ignore that voice, every time you push past it, you're training your mind to become unbreakable. Because your mind is the strongest muscle you've got, but it's also the laziest. If you don't train it, it'll keep you weak, and weakness spreads. It spreads to how you think, how you act, how you live. Before you know it, it owns you. But if you confront it, if you fight it, you'll start to build something different. You'll start to build armor. Pain isn't there to punish you. It's there to prepare you. Every time you suffer, every time you go through something that breaks you down, you're building the foundation for a version of yourself that doesn't exist yet. The person who will come out of that pain will be harder, sharper, and hungrier than the one who went in. You just have to stay in the fire long enough to be forged. That's the part people miss. They jump out of the fire too early. They want the results without the suffering. But the process is the price. There's no shortcut. You've got to be willing to outwork your pain. When it hurts, you keep going. When you're tired, you keep going. When you fail, you get back up and keep going. Because somewhere inside you is a version of yourself that doesn't quit. You've just buried that version under comfort, fear, and excuses. Your job is to dig it back out. Every day, every rep, every mile, every rejection. Each one is a shovel in your hand. And the deeper you dig, the closer you get to uncovering who you really are. Most people think success comes from talent or luck. But the real secret is obsession. The kind of obsession that makes you uncomfortable. The kind of obsession that makes people call you crazy. You've got to be addicted to becoming better, addicted to the grind, addicted to the process of turning yourself into something unstoppable. Because when you stop needing motivation and start depending on discipline, you become dangerous. You stop being controlled by your feelings. You stop caring about what people think. You stop living like a victim. You start living like a weapon. There were days I woke up and didn't want to move. Days when my body screamed for rest, when my mind told me I couldn't take another step. But that's when I reminded myself, this is where the real growth happens. Not when it's easy, not when everything's going my way. It happens when I'm broken, when I'm bleeding, when I'm alone. Because pain isolates you. It strips you down to nothing. But that's also where you find your truth. When everything's taken from you, your comfort, your strength, your energy, what's left is who you really are. And that's the version that has the power to change everything. You can't fake being hard. You can post quotes, talk about grinding, share motivational videos. But when it's 4 a.m. and you're staring at your shoes, nobody's coming to push you. You either do it or you don't. You either step up or you stay soft. Life doesn't owe you anything, but it will give you exactly what you work for. So if you're not willing to bleed for it, stop saying you want it, because pain is the entry fee to every dream worth having. You've got to learn to turn pain into fuel. When people doubt you, let that light a fire. When they underestimate you, let that sharpen your focus. When life beats you down, use that as your training ground. Every setback is an opportunity to become more dangerous. Every failure is feedback. Every scar is a lesson. Pain is the teacher that will turn you from average to unstoppable if you're willing to listen. And don't just endure pain, study it. Break it down. Ask yourself why it hurts, where it comes from, what it's teaching you. Because when you understand your pain, it loses its power. You start to control it instead of being controlled by it. You start to move from victim to warrior, from weak to unbreakable. The people who make it in life aren't the ones who avoid pain. They're the ones who use it. They don't waste time complaining about how unfair life is. They're too busy getting stronger. They take the hits, they learn, and they come back harder. That's how you build resilience. That's how you build grit. That's how you become unstoppable. The day you stop running from pain is the day you start living. You'll realize that everything you ever wanted sits on the other side of suffering. But to cross that line, you've got to be willing to walk through fire with a smile. You've got to learn to love the process more than the reward. Because once you fall in love with the grind, nobody can take that from you. When you start seeing pain as a privilege instead of punishment, everything changes. You stop fearing the struggle. You start chasing it. Because you understand that struggle is the birthplace of strength. You can't buy toughness. You can't download resilience. You can't fake endurance. You earn those things through hours and hours of doing what no one else wants to do. Every time you choose the hard road, you're adding layers to your armor. And one day, when life throws its hardest punch, it'll hit steel instead of skin. People always ask me, how do you stay motivated? I don't. Motivation is temporary. Motivation fades the moment you get tired. What keeps you going when that happens is identity. You've got to decide who you are when the pain hits. Are you the kind of person who quits when things get uncomfortable? Or are you the kind of person who digs deeper? Every time you push through when you don't want to, you're casting a vote for the kind of person you want to become. And over time, those votes add up. That's how you transform. Being unstoppable isn't about having superhuman strength. It's about refusing to stay down. It's about falling 100 times and standing up 101. Life's going to knock you flat. It's going to take things from you. It's going to test your patience, your will, your faith. But you've got to stop looking for fairness. Fairness doesn't exist in the jungle. The lion doesn't complain that the gazelle runs too fast. It just gets faster. That's how you've got to live. Adapt, overcome, repeat. You have to learn to suffer on purpose. That means deliberately putting yourself in situations that break you. Cold mornings, long runs, extra reps, difficult conversations, whatever it takes to stretch you. Because suffering voluntarily builds immunity to pain. Once you face hardship by choice, the hardships you don't choose don't control you anymore. You stop being afraid of discomfort because you've learned to live in it. You've learned to breathe there. And that's when you become dangerous. When pain stops being a signal to quit and becomes a signal to rise. Everybody wants to be successful until they realize what that really means. Success isn't glamorous. It's gritty. It's lonely. It's repetitive. It's the same routine day after day, with no applause, no shortcuts, no comfort. It's waking up before the world does, putting in the work, and doing it again tomorrow. Success is discipline disguised as boredom. But if you can stay locked in when it gets dull, you'll separate yourself from 99% of people who only show up when it's exciting. I've been broken before. I've felt the pain of failure, rejection, and humiliation. There were times I wanted to give up, times I questioned whether all the effort was worth it. But every single time that pain became fuel. It burned away the weakness. It forged a mindset that said, no matter what happens, I'm not quitting. That's what pain does. It refines you. If you let it, it turns you into a weapon. But if you run from it, it turns you into a victim. The choice is yours every day. Look around. We live in a world obsessed with comfort, instant gratification, quick results. People want the reward without the grind. They want to post a picture without walking the miles. But comfort is a slow killer. It dulls your instincts, weakens your drive, and convinces you that you're okay staying average. You were not born to be average. You were born to grow, to suffer, to fight, to win. You were born to take the hits and keep coming. That's what evolution is. Constant adaptation through pain. When you start embracing pain, you realize how powerful you really are. You stop being scared of failing because you've already survived worse. You stop caring about other people's opinions because you know they don't live your life. You stop doubting yourself because every day you do something your old self couldn't. That's how you build confidence. From earned suffering, not empty words. The mind is a battlefield, and most people lose because they underestimate the enemy inside. That voice that whispers, "You're tired. You're done, take a break," is the voice that kills dreams. You've got to fight that voice every single day. Talk back to it. Tell it you're not done until you decide you're done. Because when your mind breaks, your body follows. But if you train your mind to push beyond pain, your body will obey. That's why mental toughness is everything. It's the control center. You've got to get comfortable being uncomfortable. You've got to wake up and choose discipline over desire. When it's cold, you train. When it rains, you train. When you fail, you learn. You don't wait for perfect conditions. You create them through consistency. Because there's no growth in comfort, and there's no victory without sacrifice. Every step you take through pain brings you closer to power. There's a reason champions train when everyone else sleeps. It's not just about the physical edge. It's about the mental one. It's about proving to yourself that you're willing to suffer more than anyone else. Pain becomes your currency, and every rep, every run, every drop of sweat is a deposit toward the person you're becoming. That's how you turn pain into power, not by avoiding it, but by investing in it. Most people quit because they forget why they started. You've got to anchor your purpose deep inside your soul. When everything hurts and you want to stop, your purpose is what keeps you moving. Your why has to be stronger than your pain. It has to be something you can feel in your bones. Maybe it's proving the doubters wrong. Maybe it's rewriting your story. Maybe it's simply not wanting to be the same weak version of yourself anymore. Whatever it is, keep it close, because when the suffering comes, and it will, that's the only thing that'll carry you through. You'll have moments when nobody believes in you, when people laugh at your dreams, when you feel completely alone. That's good. That's the fire you need. Because if you can keep pushing when you've got no support, when the world's against you, then you've already won. The rest is just a matter of time. Pain isolates, but it also clarifies. It strips away distractions and forces you to face your truth. And the truth is, you don't need anyone's permission to become great. You want to be unstoppable. Stop being afraid of what could go wrong and start focusing on what could go right. You can't let fear of failure dictate your path. Failure isn't the end. It's information. It's feedback that shows you where to improve. Every time you fail, you're getting closer to success. As long as you don't stop. The only real failure is quitting. Everything else is just part of the process. You need to develop what I call savage resilience. The ability to keep moving no matter what. You fall, you rise, you cry, you work, you bleed, you keep going. Because resilience isn't built in comfort. It's built in chaos. Every storm you survive becomes part of your armor. Every pain you endure adds a layer of strength that can't be broken. When you live with that kind of mindset, nothing can stop you. Not pain, not failure, not fear. Because you realize that everything that was meant to break you was actually building you. Every scar is proof that you didn't quit. Every hardship is proof that you're still standing. And that's the real definition of power. Endurance through adversity. So the next time you feel pain, don't run. Don't hide. Don't complain. Smile. Because pain means you're still alive. Pain means you're still fighting. Pain means you're evolving. You're in the arena while others are watching from the sidelines. Most people will never know what that feels like, and that's their loss. You, on the other hand, you're building something inside that can't be taken away. Grit, heart, and an unbreakable spirit. Be unstoppable. Turn every wound into wisdom, every loss into a lesson, every hardship into horsepower. Pain is your greatest ally if you let it be. Because one day, you'll look back at everything you thought would destroy you and realize it was preparing you. And when that day comes, you won't just survive the pain, you'll thank it.